name quarterback. Yeah, the caption under Dalton says QB1. Guys, it's March. Why are we naming a starter in March? Coach Eric Mangini is with us this morning. Coach, you surprised the Bears did this, that they named Andy Dalton their QB1 so early?
No, I'm not surprised they did. It doesn't mean that they can't change their mind if they draft a quarterback. But the reason everybody's so upset with Chicago is because of the fantasy that was being projected for about a month. The idea that Russell Wilson was ever going to become a Chicago Bear makes everything else look ridiculous. And if you want to be mad at Chicago, be mad at Chicago because they didn't go get Carson Wentz, or they didn't go get Cam Newton, or they didn't try to trade for Marcus Mariota, or guys that were legitimately on the market. It's like a guy who gets a raise and then is mad because he didn't, win Powerball. Well, he didn't get bit by a shark either, but both had the same probability of happening. Like it wasn't real. It was all make believe. So now everybody's frustrated because they didn't make enough moves. And the biggest problem I have with Chicago is whoever in the organization told what they were going to offer Seattle, to try to justify that they were being active. It was never going to happen. So you got to get over that narrative, and you got to look at what reality is, and this was reality.
Okay, so the other reality is this is a sad timeline for the Bears, and I'm going to illustrate that in just a moment. But first, public service announcement for everyone, all draft nicks and people on NFL Twitter. Can we stop with this positional designation number thing that makes you think you're cosplaying as a scout? This guy's my WR6. The Seahawks need to upgrade their ILB2. This is a new invention in the modern where we're doing position number designation like you would do if you were in a war room. Stop it. And social media teams, really stop it if it's going to be depressing. Thanks to Warren Sharp, can we show you the last 7 months of Bears QB1s? Because this is the saddest timeline. QB1! Oh, look at Mitch. Show me that good jawline, Mitch Trubisky. Do we have another QB1? Oh, look who it is. Oh, tricky Nick Foles. Look at him. Oh, QB1. Up one for the score. Picks up one. Enough. And now the red rifle, Andy Dalton, QB1. It is the saddest timeline. And I'm about to show something somehow even sadder. Because since they got rid of Jay Cutler, since they released Jay Cutler,
Smoking Jay.
It's not the Smoking Jay. Who knew they would rue the day they let Jay Cutler walk out of the building? But the Bears, it's not been for lack of resources or trying. Can we show you what they've done at quarterback since losing Jay Cutler? That is $120 million of contracts and draft picks 3, 67, 70, 111, and 140 to get the dirty half dozen of Mike Glennon, Mark Sanchez, Mitch Trubisky, Chase Daniel, Nick Foles, and Andy Dalton. It's $120 million, 5 draft picks for that. Wilds, the social media team. What do you want them to do? Like, it's just, what do you want me to post about? Like, what do you want me to say? And by the way, the same man's been in charge the whole time. What they should have, you know what they should put up there? GM32 and a picture of Ryan Pace. That's what they should put out there. Like, yo, man, it ain't our fault. This is the groceries you shop for us. Don't be mad that the meal is terrible. But that's the situation for the Bears. And it ain't
They're in a brutal spot. They're in a brutal spot. You know what it reminds me of? Sometimes my brother gets me a mediocre present and he doesn't even wrap it. Like, here's your birthday present. I'm like, oh, God, what's it? Just in the Amazon box that I have to open up myself. So, look, if they really believed in Andy Dalton, you could have a big conference like Dak Prescott. And then,
Like
or at least the social media team can go the whole way, like our social media team believes in the takes of the panelists. Here's one. Oh, Nick Wright, look at this. There's money flying around. Dak's fired up. There's storm cloud. He's flexing. Amazing. Let's move on. What did Brandon say about the Patriots? Brandon comes on my corner, says, I'm with the Patriots. Boom, you got the Superman thing. He's posing, about to run the ball or throw an interception. And then Cam in the background, I'm all in on the Patriots. And then what do the Bears do? Just Photoshop it. It's just normal, just straightforward. Just one layer of just like, put a jersey on them. It's all right. Brandon, to me, this shows
they
that
did the right
Bears
thing.
aren't it. Oh, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Well, how do they do the right thing, Brandon? Less is more, you're saying?
I mean, they did the right thing. Look, yes, less is more sometimes. No, look, on a social media standpoint, they could have did a little bit more, but sometimes just coming out saying QB1, it's like, wow, that's powerful. So I push back on Nick when he says this whole thing that we're doing with quarterback and position is not. I actually like it. I think it's awesome. Here's the deal. I was in Chicago for 3 years, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm still a little bitter that I didn't retire a Bear. That's the true story there. But every day I walked in Hollis Hall in Lake Forest, Illinois. I knew who my quarterback was. Like if I'm Allen Robinson right now and I'm walking into Hollis Hall, okay, who do I turn to? Who do I work out with? Who do I connect with in the offseason? Is it Nick Foles? Is it Andy Dalton? This is all about eliminating distractions. Coach, you know this. There's almost 90 guys in the locker room in the offseason, or now virtually, whatever you call it. And the hardest thing to do is eliminate distractions. We all have egos. We all have a million things going on. And Coach Mangini's trying to do one thing. Guys, buy into this vision. This is what we're trying to do. So this is the Chicago Bears eliminating distractions. This is the Chicago Bears letting their wide receivers know this is who you go hang out with in the offseason. Not Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, who I think is a good quarterback. He's not a championship quarterback, but he's a good quarterback. Coach, can you please tell them that this is the Chicago Bears eliminating distractions?
Well, first of all, I have a few things I need to address. Nick, I think I need to be referred to as NFL Guest 1 from now on. I think that should be the starting point. I think the best money that the Bears could spend is to go hire whoever runs Wendy's Twitter account, because they're hilarious. And I think that would help a tremendous amount. And that would avoid distractions. And it would be much more cost effective than the quarterbacks are bringing in. And I'd say that you're right, Brendan. They are trying to eliminate distractions, and they're trying to make the best of a situation that's been exasperated by the fantasy that was projected with Russell Wilson. I mean, the worst part of all this is when you look at the two quarterbacks they have on the roster, none of them statistically are as good as Mitch Trubisky. So they cost $13 million more, but none of them won more games. None of them had a better completion percentage. None of them had more touchdowns. None of them had less sacks. None of them had a higher quarterback rating. To me, that's as problematic as anything. But, yeah, this was the best available option at this point, and they're leaning into it, but it doesn't rule them out from doing something in the draft to try to go get another guy.
All right, so a few things about the show. Coach, you will always be NFL Guest 1 on this show and in my heart where it matters the most. That's first of all. Second of all,
put it out on Twitter. With a big
put
graphic.
it out on Twitter, no problem. Guys, speaking of put it out on Twitter, for the show archives, we have a new floor of what Brandon Marshall will consider a good quarterback. It is now Andy Dalton. I am excited to see if it can ever go lower. I didn't think it could, but if Andy Dalton is a good quarterback,
6 times.
Brandon,
He went to the playoffs 6 times in Cincinnati.